Tonight, a glimmer of hope for a Franklin County man fighting to get an abandoned landfill cleaned up before more chemicals leak onto his property and ultimately into the Merrimack River.
He first shared his concerns with 5 on Your Side back in September. Now Tracy Henson is hearing from a former Department of Natural Resources inspector and found out just how dire the situation really is.
DNR has not been hands-on with this at all.
This is one of the first times Teresa Thavari has been able to talk openly with Jim Roberts.
This is the property, the north slope right here.
Up until recently, Thavari worked for the Department of Natural Resources inspecting hazardous waste dump sites.
I actually came out here in February.
One of many trips to the abandoned General Lee landfill in St. Clair, Missouri.
This site, neighbors Jim's property, is probably one of the worst landfills in the St. Louis region.
One of the worst because at first glance, it doesn't look like a landfill at all.
This site has a lot of trees. A landfill that is in compliance and is being maintained properly and routinely checked. There shouldn't be any vegetation, like any trees, woody vegetation at all, because that will impact the cap and will destruct the cap and let water or other contaminants get into the landfill.
The cap is a layer of plastic or clay that seals in a closed landfill. Thavari isn't even sure there is one here.
This site is a perfect storm of everything that can possibly go wrong with the landfill is going wrong.
Every once in a while, you kind of get a rough smell from it.
No owner mandated to bring the landfill into compliance. No funding for a government agency to take the project on themselves. So for now, the landfill will keep leaching into the Roberts Creek and Spring.
The test results had elevated levels of lead, arsenic, PFAS in particular, which PFOA and PFAS are deemed hazardous substances by the EPA. Well above the limit. Yeah, there's no way I would have animals or anybody in that creek.
He's trying to fix it, but getting someone in leadership to listen was hard until Missouri State Senator Ben Brown picked up Roberts' call.
And he had explained that he purchased this land, thinking that it would be the perfect opportunity to raise this family, potentially start a farm.
Robert sent pictures of the orange goo and unnatural glossy sheen on the water. Senator Brown took the issue to the DNR, EPA, and county with no luck. But then he reached out to the University of Missouri.
She explained that through what's called the Brownfield program, there are actually federal grants available specifically for the environmental study as well as the cleanup for these types of sites.
It's a long shot, but perhaps a thin beam of light at the end of the tunnel for Roberts.
Yeah, not the progress I want to see, but a little bit's better than nothing.
In St. Clair, Tracy Henson, 5 on Your Side.
The Missouri Department of Natural Resources says it does not have the authority or funding to adequately address abandoned landfills. They're working with lawmakers to find a long-term solution. Franklin County submitted for the grant. The decision comes down in June.